Alright guys, I know it's been a while since I've made any content, so I thought this would be a good way to get back into the swing of things here. Welcome to my garage. This is a doe that I killed. Let's see, today is Saturday. I killed this Wednesday afternoon, and it has been cold enough outside to let it hang. Anything below 50 degrees, it's safe to let your animal hang like this. It makes it a lot easier to process. Now, this is the third animal that I've killed. So one buck, this is the second doe. And most of this is going to get ground into burger and into sausages. So we're gonna have to take it apart. This deer is very fatty. You can see I took the fat off the straps already, but thick fat caps on the ribs, on the rumps, the hams. All right, there's the straps. So they say if you have a fatty deer, it means it's going to be a really cold winter. So I guess we'll find out. So let me move you in here closer and we can get started taking her apart. All right, so when they're hanging head down like this, I'm gonna start with the front shoulders here. I don't know if you can see this, right there's her shoulder blade, right? And when they're dry like this, they're pretty easy. For those wondering, I'm using a Benchmade meat crafter, 6-inch. But when they're dry, separate them, pull them apart like this pretty easily. The benefit of letting them sit and hang and dry like this is A, it pulls apart easy, like I just said, and B, it's not wet and slimy. So we can start to cut here. You can see that just pulls, and then we can just cut through pretty easily. Just that connective tissue. There's no joint connecting the front leg to the body of the animal, which I've always thought is pretty interesting. So it's all just tissue holding it on. So fronts always come off pretty easy, like so. And there's our fronts. Now, for the part everybody worries about, the back straps and the inside loins right here. The insides, we'll tackle those first. So the spine is right here. Take our knife blade, tip of our knife, run it right down the spine and cut through the tips. First rib is the bottom of the inner one. Alright. And then we can work our fingers in there behind it, like that. And it just pulls right out. Like so. Right. And that's a good piece of meat right there. So again, your spine, take our knife, run it right down inside the spine, and then right there is where my arrow came through. So we're gonna cut that a little high so we don't get that bruised meat out. Fingers. Just kind of work it out like that. There you go. Before you eat it, you want to trim off the fat. Alright, but you can probably, yeah, see it just peels off like that. Another benefit of letting it hang, because it would not do that if it was still warm or super fresh. That wouldn't pull off just like that. Super easy. Alright, so back to the back straps here. Like I said earlier, the piece everybody raves about. So again, we have our spine right down the middle there. I'm going to take our knife, and the back straps run about to like right here where I cut that fat off. We can trim a little bit of it off. So there's a seam right here, that's where the back straps end. Right? So we're going to take our knife. You can see it's kind of pulled away from the ribs there already. So this should pull pretty easily. I have to get it out from behind this muscle right here. So we'll take our knife. Okay. We're gonna stick it in right beside the spine. Right, I'm gonna go down. And I don't know if you could hear it, but I can feel and you can hear when you're pursing the tip of your knife hitting the vertebrae as they go down. That's how close to the spine I am. Right. Probably heard it that time maybe. Then I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go right along that seam I just talked about. Right. So that's hip bone. Right there it is. Okay. Bring this down to meet where I started on the spine. Like that. I start to work my thumb in. 4 fingers. Right. Just kind of pulling it. And it's separated good. Both sides. Here. So then I'm going to open up away from the spine. So I'm using my thumb, my left hand to pull the meat away. I'm using the knife, my right hand to kind of get behind it a little bit and separate it off of that bone. And once it starts, it'll go fairly easily once we get it started here. Just trying to make sure not to cut yourself. That's the most important part. Okay. So you can see I've got it started there. And then we can kind of work it with our fingers. Work it with a knife. Constant tension on the meat, right, to pull it away from where I'm cutting. Spread it out like that. Now, you'll see there's still a lot of good meat in there. And normally, when I'm doing a deer, I'm gonna try to not leave that much on, but since I'm, like I told you guys earlier, this deer is primarily, or completely actually, I'm gonna use, because I have the straps from my buck and my first doe, I'm gonna grind this whole animal. So as long as I can just get this stuff off, like this, right, it's no big deal. Alright, so there's some more strap there. On the other side, same thing. Come in. Like that. Come down. Like this. So right there is where my broadhead went through. So there's hair in it. It's kind of crazy. But she was practically right under me in a tree. I was in a tree. She was practically directly under me. Straight down. Not quite exactly straight down, but real close. Little neck meat on that one. Again, it's in the ground. Doesn't matter what it looks like coming off. And since I am grinding this deer, I don't usually get rib meat just because it's not really worth it to me. But since we're grinding her, let's see what kind of meat we're going to get off these ribs. There's our rib meat, right? Looks almost like a piece of bacon. The problem is, deer fat does not taste good, right? Especially if they've been eating acorns and stuff. It's just not good. It's waxy. It's real waxy. Makes really good like lip balm and stuff, but I mean, usable meat. Just this little piece here. You know, you good luck trying to separate all the fat from this stuff. So, all right, so this little piece, and then these few little pieces here. All right, but it's gonna be so much work to get all this fat off. Just for those little pieces. Not worth it to me. Not worth it to me. All right, for the back legs, normally when I'm parting them out for roasts and things, I'm going to cut the animal here, completely off with salt. I'm going to take this hindquarters off of the gimbal, the hanger, put it on the table, piece out the legs from the pelvis, and then piece out the legs into the different parts, roasts, and different things. Since I'm grinding it, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it hanging like this, and I'm going to piece it out while it's hanging like this. There's a seam right here. Okay. And right here. Both sides. You see it right there. That one's already starting to separate a little bit. Right there. Okay, that's just connective tissue. So what we'll do, take our knife. Right there is where her joint is. Right, that's, I don't know if you can hear that, but that's bone right there. So we're gonna go just above that. Still a little, there we go. Straight in, and kind of around, like so. Okay. So I stuck my knife in, and I did it like this. So I've cut all the way around like that. Okay. Now take my knife, find that seam, and just follow it down. Right. And you can hear it. So to separate, this is gonna be, or it would be, if I was parting it out like that, a roast. But again, since I am not parting it out like that, parting it out to grind, I'm going to find the bone with the tip of my knife and go just around it and work my way down like that. Same thing on this side. All right. Feel the bone right there. Work my way in and around, in and around. And then there we go. Bring it down. Down. So, now that fat's on the peel good. So, I'll just show you here what I'm talking about. All that fat and stuff. So that gland that everybody talks about, it's right there. You don't want that in your meat or on it or wherever. And with a little cleaning up, that will be a roast right there, at a good one. It's my favorite one. Right, you gotta cook it real slow, so, but it will just fall apart. Alright, once you get into these hind legs, these hind muscle groups, it's all just following the seams and stuff. I'm not 100% sure if I will kill another deer. If I do, that'll be all my tags, so, you know, I don't know if I will or not, I don't know. If I do, I'll try to do a video about, you know, parting it out for, you know, cutting steaks and roasts and all the fancy stuff, you know. It's not really fancy, it's really easy actually. I would encourage everybody to do it. It's well worth it in my opinion. But for now, I'm just gonna basically hack all the meat off because I'm grinding it. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter where it's from, as in what part of the body, right? It's all gonna get mixed with pork fat and ground up into a variety of things. Just blown away by how much fat this deer has. So, that's the video. Like, share, subscribe, and let me know if you guys have any video ideas for me. Thank you.